Good morning and welcome to Spiritual Vacancy. We are here to help fill your spiritual void. My name is Brooke Ann. I'm a psychic medium and a Reiki practitioner, and I am with the lovely.
Hello, I'm Mona Lee. I'm the owner of Beautiful Mind, and I'm an energy healer and just so excited about everything metaphysical, everything psychic, everything out of this world. So I am so excited that our dear Chrissy Rice is here with us today.
Yes,
Me
thank you guys.
too. We're so excited to have you on. We want to talk about your spiritual journey and how it came about. What was the transition like and all of the emotions with it. So we are so happy to have you on today. If you
Yeah,
kind of want to tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey, we would love to hear.
sure. I would love to. I'm like, where do we start? All right, let's start about, oh, it was probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago almost. I was a real estate agent, became a real estate agent, and I was a realtor after my daughter went to kindergarten. I'm like, okay, I got to get a job now. She's in school. So I became a realtor and I absolutely loved it because I love working with people. However, it's a very stressful job, like extremely stressful, and it can run you into the ground a little bit. And so I worked through 2020 and 2021, which were the craziest real estate years of I've ever seen in all my years of doing it. And I was tired. And I was like, there's something else for me because this job is affecting my health, not only just my physical health, but like my mental health as well. And I happened to hear from somebody that they had a Reiki session really helped them kind of for their physical health and mental health, everything. So I went to go get a Reiki session from someone who suggested to get one. And I sat down in the chair and I looked across the way at the Reiki practitioner. I was like, I need to be doing this. Like, like it was just like that aha moment, like it clicked. And I was just like, I am going to do this. And from I learned it right after that meeting, and I became a Reiki practitioner. And I decided a year after doing that that I wouldn't do real estate anymore. So I gave up doing real estate to jump into this whole spiritual journey. Now, I've always been a spiritual person. So I think I'm just like, I guess we call it like I'm spiritually out of the closet now, kind of. So I just get to shine my true, authentic self to people. And it's scary when you do that because you're not sure how your family or your friends or the public is going to react to this new person that they didn't really know before. They just knew you as real estate agent Chrissy. So yeah, and that's really where my spiritual journey started because once I learned Reiki, I learned and opened up a world for myself that I knew I had inside of me, but I needed something to open the door to other things that I've learned and went down roads that I didn't know I'd ever go down before.
Did you
Isn't that
find,
fascinating? Oh, I'm so
sorry,
sorry. I'm so excited.
this is our first guest, y'all. We're like,
Yeah, you're like, questions now. Okay.
yeah.
There's so many questions. There's so much excitement. I see a whole list of things that you are involved in, Chrissy. And when you had first started your journey, and it was Reiki that began, when that started, when you started to come out of that into that world. So
Yes.
what else did you branch into right after Reiki, and what did you find
Yes.
yourself going into?
So right after Reiki, I would say I dove deep into learning all about the chakras and the everything that has to do with that. Then mediumship came for me. And then I would say because I do intuitive messages, so I would say like the psychic part of it came after the mediumship, and the mediumship showed up while I was doing Reiki. So it's like when you open up that world, you don't know what other things that you can connect with are happening or going on, And you're like, what is happening? Like, what is this, But I've always been fascinated with mediumship my entire life. So when it started to come to me, I was like, yes. Like I was excited about it. I was not scared about it. I was just like, I knew that this was in me and I could figure this out. And so I've been on that journey as well. And then the psychic part, and then yoga. I learned yoga. So I'm a yoga teacher, certified yoga teacher, and going down a path of trying to figure out how to heal my body, like my physical body, because all of that was helping like my energy body and my mental body, but I also went down and hired a health coach to heal my physical body through food. So I learned that as well on how to eat bioenergetically to heal that. And I was on this huge, everything was healing all at once. So when
Mhm.
that happens, you just turn into this big giant light bulb and like you're glowing like crazy and like all this stuff is coming to you and you're like, what is happening? It was like a good solid year of it all coming at me, you know?
Mhm.
But I was just like, okay, let's go. Like, what else?
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you find your diet changed like with the health coach, and then did
Yeah.
you find it completely changing once you started your spiritual journey? It wasn't prior.
No, yes, it was prior, but not very much prior. I
Okay.
was like at the start of it, but
Okay.
then I was like really in the thick of it as I was going through the spiritual journey of the diet changing. Yeah. And once you change your diet and once you clean up what you're eating and you're eating more cleanly, things just come through clearer for you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Everything is so clear.
our last episode was about diet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we just
It's
Yes.
talked about.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's everything. And then when you came out of the spiritual closet, did you find backlash? Did you find like you lost friends or family, or were they all supportive? Like what was your journey with the people around you and how they accepted you? Because that's a big change from real estate to spiritual, and a lot of people might not agree. But what was your experience like?
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people know that they have these things inside of them, right? They just don't know how to harness them or use them or work with them. And so I've always known that my whole life, but I just never really voiced that to anyone but like my very, very close friends and family. So I would say about 90% of my friends and family accepted who I was and what I was explaining that I was going through and things like that. There's a couple people still today in my life that don't want to talk about certain things that they find strange or they don't understand. So I know who those people are and I'm okay with that because that's just not a topic or a road they want to go down. And I just keep that friendship where it is. And I don't advance it to anything more than that.
Okay.
Wonderful. It seems like whenever we're growing in that vibration, the ones that end up falling away will fall away if they're not
Yeah.
in the same frequencies and vibration. And those that are, like, it's so beautiful that 90% of your family and your true friends that are resonating with that and understand that. So
Yeah.
now that you can get yourself out there going, I am Chrissy Rice, I do this. So how
Yes.
would you explain? Because there's so many different great things that you are doing right now on this earth right now. So how would you explain yourself in a nutshell? What would you say is how you bring yourself as that light into the world?
Yes, I that's a hard question for me because there's so many things. And really I've narrowed it down to I'm a Gemini. So I do a little bit of everything. And I really
Mhm.
like shine my Gemini-ness comes out full force when it comes to what do I do.
Mm.
Um I do a little bit of everything. So I really Reiki is that's my true love. That's kind of how everything started for me. So I can open myself up when I'm actually doing Reiki and so many other things can happen. Um, you know, Teaching people about the different areas of their body and their chakra points and where they need to work on their energy or what certain ailments they have because of this imbalance that they have in their body and how to coach them through bringing back the balance is
Mhm.
one thing I do. I have a group called the Tranquil Trio, and there are three girls that I work with. Well, two girls, there's three of us all together. I'm the Reiki practitioner, there's a yoga teacher, and there's a sound healer. And we travel around to different yoga studios or homes or anywhere that people hire us to do these events. Well, we call them experiences because it's you're getting amazing, beautiful sound healing while doing yin yoga, which is just really deep stretching yoga. So anyone can do it. And I am going around to each different person during their stretching time during yin yoga, and I'm doing Reiki on them. I also get intuitive messages for them. So I write those on little index cards for them, and they take those with them. And it's pretty profound because having all of those things done at once really opens a person up during
Mm.
those experiences. And that's been like something that's really true to my heart right now, is doing those experiences for groups.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of great feedback too with how accurate your intuitive messages are too.
Yes, it shocks me every time. So when I get a message, I don't know what this message means. I have no, because I'm clairvoyant, so I typically see my messages within my mind's eye, and I'll write the message on the index card. But before the session even starts, I have them set an intention on a card. They write it, they fold it up, they put it underneath their yoga mats, and they really let that intention sink into their mats, right? And I want them to come back to that intention the whole time. I will literally write the exact same thing on an index card that their intention was.
Mm.
And I don't even know how it happens. It will be like, you really need to take some time to do some grounding work, go outside, do this. I really need to ground myself. It
Mm.
blows my mind that these messages come where what they're feeling is true, right? They say that they want to work on these things, but it's true. That's what you need to work on. So the messages are just validation for them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That So I have another question for you.
Okay.
That is so wonderful that you're doing this work, and that it's just that you're so tapped into the field of energy around
Yeah.
them. And it's just absolutely incredible. So you've got so many different things to share as your beautiful Gemini spirit that you
Yes.
are. And I was reading that you have 3 podcasts. Can you tell us about those?
Yes, I do. So I have two that are still live today, and I have one that I've done, and there's lots of episodes that you can still do, but it's ended. So the one that is live right now is Health and Harmony, and I do that with my health coach. And we basically talk about bioenergetic eating and different ailments in the body that you want to try to help yourself. Like last week, we just did one on anemia. So what is anemia? How to help anemia through food. So everything, we pick a subject, and then we tell people how to heal themselves from this ailment by using food and supplements. And then my other one I do is my own personal one called the Energy Wellness Podcast. And I'll just go on there and talk about a random subject that kind of feel like the energy in the air is that I'm feeling, on a certain subject or something that somebody's dealing with at the moment. And then my past podcast I had was called Heal Your Life with Us. And I did that with one of my friends. And we did that podcast on our healing journey. So you'll see from like the start of our healing journey, pretty much to, I don't say that there's an end to healing journeys, but that time of doing that podcast was over for us. But it's so good still. So it's still out there. We left all the episodes out there for everyone to listen to. And we had tons of beautiful guests and things that people do. And if you've never heard of certain things, listen to that podcast, because you'll hear some cool stuff on there.
Very. And so I listen to Chrissy's podcast all the time, all of them. She needs to put more out of her
Yeah.
own. I'm like, you haven't released that. But Chrissy, you also have a cookbook.
I do. So yeah, see, Gemini coming straight out again. She just likes to do a lot of things. So because I had such an amazing journey learning how to eat bioenergetically, healing my body just through food and supplements, not going the medication route, because I had been diagnosed with thyroid disease, Hashimoto's. So I didn't want to go the medical route or have my thyroid removed or be put on medication. I chose to try to do it through my diet and learning how to fuel my body with the nutrients it needed to kick Hashimoto's to the curb and just put it in remission. So I found that when I was on that like journey of learning how to eat again, no one understood it. No one liked it. No one understood why I had to be gluten-free. No one understood why I ate certain fats and not other fats, and why I use certain oils and not other oils. So I wrote this cookbook it's a very simple cookbook, because I wanted to show people that you too can do this. Like you just need to do very simple cooking things for yourself and your family, because you could help your family as well. It's not complicated. It's not hard. And that's why I wrote the cookbook, because I felt like so many people didn't understand the way that I ate, and they said it was too hard. it's so complicated. They didn't like having me over for dinner. So like, what do I cook for her? So
Mm.
I wrote this cookbook to show people it's actually really simple and it actually works to help yourself.
And what's the cookbook called?
It's called Metabolic Eats, and you can find it on Amazon or on my website, chrissyrice.com.
That is so wonderful. And I think just by having a guidebook that people can look at to go, okay, how do I eat? How do I heal this part of me with this disease or that disease? And a great saying that I heard recently is, let's not have food. Well, no, food can be our medicine
Yes,
instead of medicine being our food.
yes,
Well, I was reading about something that you have done also, which is sourdough making. And I have
yes.
heard about sourdough being such a beautiful thing. I don't know enough about sourdough, but I know I like to eat it. But could you share with us what's the deal about sourdough bread?
Okay,
What does it do? What
so
are the health benefits?
yes, so sourdough bread is this most amazing but really hard and complicated thing that really challenges people on trying to make it. And I love a good, complicated, challenging project. So I just like dove right into sourdough making. Now, sourdough bread is one of the things on like a bioenergetic meal plan that if you can tolerate a little bit of gluten, it is good for you, right? It has so many other health benefits because when you're creating the sourdough starter, it actually has bacteria in it, like fermented bacteria that helps you to digest the bread even better than it doesn't bloat you. It helps your gut lining when you're digesting it. Whereas regular white bread has the full gluten and no bacteria in it. So it does have some gluten. So regular white bread has like 200,000 parts per million of gluten in it. And then sourdough only has 200 parts per million of gluten in it. So if you are like just gluten sensitive, not like gluten intolerant, you can handle sourdough bread. And it's delicious, and it's a job making it because it takes like 24 hours to make one loaf. But it's the most delicious bread once you master your starter and then making it. And I just released the other day that I'm selling it to the public. So I sell it to my local people around me, which I'm in Suwanee, Georgia. So yeah, I do sourdough baking at my house, and I have a little sourdough stand outside on my front porch, and I put everybody's bag in there for pickup. So yeah, I'm making it for everybody now. It's Reiki infused sourdough.
Ooh.
Definitely putting your healing in it. Like,
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
gonna taste even better because you were working on it when you were kneading that dough.
exactly. Yeah, my hands are all in that dough, making sure that it's folded, it's got all those air bubbles, and it's rising and proofing. So yes, it's made with a lot of love.
So besides Reiki, Tranquil Trio, 2 podcasts currently with 1 in the books, tarot, mediumship, sourdough baking, cookbook. What else can they find on your website?
So on my website, I have a couple things. So distant Reiki. I also do distant Reiki. I love working distantly as well because I can pick up energy and read energy. Doesn't matter where you are. I don't even have to see you. I can just know your name and hear your voice, right? And then I also do like a mind gut connection coaching sessions. So it's where we dive deep into the problems or the ailments that you're having in your body are also related to what's going on in your mind. So it's a little bit of energy work, and it's also like coaching, and it's also chakra work all in one, kind of the mind gut connection coaching sessions, because people don't realize that the problems that they have existing in their gut, say digestion or different ailments of the organs, or trying to think, hormonal issues, they don't realize that those are also connected to their mind. That's the mind is our second stomach. So once I try to help them connect the areas that they're dealing with in their body. It's also connected to their mind. What's the connection? And we go ahead and we dive deep into making that connection, to release that connection, to work on healing the ailments inside the body through the mind.
And they can book that on your website?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You could do both the distant Reiki and then the mind gut connection on my website. Yep. On chrissyrice.com.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for her, Mona?
I'm just fascinated with the whole entire mind, body, spirit, and all of it that you're doing. And I think it's just wonderful, wonderful work that you're doing on this earth. And thank you so much for everything that you're sharing with us.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, she's amazing, guys. Go check her out. Check out her website. They can find you at Chrissy Rice Wellness on Facebook as well, right?
Yes, on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I have all of them. And
Go
YouTube.
follow her.
So
And
I'm on all of
YouTube.
them.
All of them. Like, go follow her on all of her platforms. Check her out. And we thank you for being on. Thank you for
Yes,
sharing your
thank you for
story.
having me, guys.
Yeah, and one last thing. What is it that you truly know when like spirit or your loved ones are around? Don't you like find stuff or you're doing, do you want to share that real quickly?
Yeah, so there's always signs. We have to look for
Oh,
the signs.
yeah.
Mine is always pennies. So my sign is pennies. When I'm on the right track or I'm doing the right thing or I just need to pick me up in the day because it's just not a good day, I will find random pennies, like random in the middle of nowhere pennies. So that's my sign. So you have to pick a sign that you know is for you and then watch out for that. And those signs will just continue and continue and continue. And
Yeah.
they'll like light up your day.
Yeah, thank you for sharing because somebody out there might be finding random pennies and not realizing it's
It's
their
spirit
loved
talking to
ones.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're on the right path.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Chrissy, for joining
Thank
us
you.
today. And thank you all for listening in. We hope you all have a beautiful day and namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.